Hello, everyone, and welcome back. As always, I'm your girl, Candy Washington, and we are going to have a quick, fun kiki about the latest news coming out of the Real Housewives of OC with our OG Tamra Judge. Before we get into it, be sure to like this video, subscribe to my channel, hit that notification bell, and share this with a friend because a kiki is always better with community. And other ways to support, if you want, you can always send a super thanks below and check out the description box for other ways to hang out and join us and just get some amazing things. So without further ado, let's dive into the latest news on Tamra Judge. So as we know, Tamra Judge is not saying goodbye to the Real Housewives of OC. She is saying hello because, a couple weeks ago, the news broke that she has been asked back as a full-time Orange holding cast member of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And don't forget, she had that beef with Jill Zarin from, the Real Housewives Ultimate Girl Trip. She got really mad at Jill because, Jill was on her, members only subscription Instagram and was like, breaking news, Tamra Judge, is asked back to, the Real Housewives of OC, and Tamra got really pissed and was like, why did you do that? Why did you break the news? But to be fair, a ton of different outlets were already talking about it as if it was already, known news. But I get Tamra being like, listen, you're a housewife. You shouldn't be out here breaking news that I want to break. So they had this huge beef, but whatever. Tamra's back and apparently she's here to stay. But what she is saying goodbye to is her Cut Fitness gym that she has with her husband Eddie, and Cut is cardio unique training. And she posted that they almost made their gym for 10 years, which is a long time for a small business. She said it was really hard to keep the gym going, through lockdown and everything that we've all been through. A lot of businesses, a lot of small businesses, especially ones where you have to actually go to the place, be around other people, have shuttered their doors. So it's understandable, and our hearts go out to Tamra with that. But she has some other things going on. She has her Venus CBD that I'm sure is going to plug next season on the Real Housewives of OC. And I don't really know if I believe the hype when it comes to CBD, but it's a huge industry. So I'm sure Tamra's doing fine. And she also said on her Two Peas in a Pod podcast that she does with Teddy Mellencamp that she has other ventures out, other businesses that she wants to promote on the show, of course, because as we know, the housewives always want to have 1,000 other side hustles that they want to promote on the show since they have the platform. So that is completely understandable. So sorry, Tamra, that you're saying goodbye to Cut. It was a long run, and I think a lot of people out there can empathize with, having to change course, start new businesses, close some businesses, given everything that has happened over the last 2 years with lockdowns and everything else. But what I am interested in seeing when Tamra comes back is her dynamic with Shannon Beador. So as we all know, when Shannon got on the scene for the Real Housewives of OC, she kind of had a rocky start with Heather. She thought Tamra was her friend. Tamra kind of told her business out there. That was kind of a rocky bit. And then they got back together and they were the Trace Amigas, Tamra, Vicky, and Shannon. But then when they, let Vicky go, they demoted Tamra, but Tamra was like, I'm not going to be a friend of, if you're not going to bring me back full time, I'm not coming back at all. So she refused to come back. Word on the street is that Shannon was kind of like, well, you're not coming me back on the show. I'm going to put a pause on our friendship then. And so Tamra's beef was like, oh, well, we were so close. You would call me all the time. You needed me all the time when I was on the show. But now that I'm not on the show anymore, now you don't really need my friendship. You don't really want my friendship. But I would say that is a couple of things. One, when I watched the show with Tamra and Shannon, the problem I had with Tamra's position on this is that on one hand, you would talk about Shannon like a dog behind her back. You'd be like, Shannon has this, Shannon has that. Shannon calls me all 50 times a day. Shannon's calling me at night crying. Shannon's calling me saying that she's being abused. Shannon's calling me and blah, 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 blah. She's drinking too much. She's doing this, that, blah. So on one hand, when Shannon was confiding in you, when she was calling you all the time and she was really super close with you, you went around telling talking crap about her. And then when you went on your, it was like a vacation you went on with Eddie and you're like, oh, we're going to reconnect. And Shannon didn't reach out to you because she was respecting boundaries. Then you had a problem with that. You remember? You had an issue. You're like, you didn't call me at all. Like, why didn't you call me? You usually call me all the time. So it's like, which is it, Tamra? Are you irritated with Shannon calling you all the time and you talk about it behind her back? But then when she gives you space and she's actually respecting boundaries and having healthier friendship relationships, then you also say, like, why didn't you call me? I didn't hear from you, all of this stuff. So you need to pick a side. Do you want to be friends with her and do you not want to be friends with her? So, and also, like, dynamics usually change when a housewife will leave the franchise and somebody else is on it. So I don't know. I'm usually always team Shannon Beador, so I might be a little biased when it comes to that. I like Shannon Beador, and I think Tamra a lot of the times knows the assignment, and she will stir the pot, and she'll, say one thing to you and one thing to you, and then watch you guys go at it. So I think Tamra's going to be a great new addition to the show. I also want to see Tamra go against Heather Dubrow. Like, this is a rivalry I did not see coming. I had no idea that Heather and Tamra were beefing, but, when Heather got back on the show, she was basically like, well, why would you bring Tamra back? She has a podcast, the Two Peas in the Pod podcast. Why would you bring back a housewife that now has a podcast talking about the housewives? Like, that's weird. Why would you do that? Mind you, Heather Dubrow has a podcast, Heather World, and she has all the other shows that she does. So it's kind of like, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. That really doesn't make any sense. And like, everyone has a podcast nowadays. Me too. Check the link below. But you know what I mean? So I'm kind of like, this is a rivalry and this is a beef that I did not see coming because I didn't know that Heather and Tamra had a beef until Heather came out bashing Tamra. And in this situation, I'm team Tamra. I think it's really shady, Heather. Like, don't bash anybody's hustle. And like, you have podcasts, you have a YouTube channel, you have like 50 other shows with Terry Dubrow. Like, what exactly is the problem? I'm really super confused. And so I'm looking forward to see how Tamra comes in swinging and who will be Tamra's allies. If she's on the outs with Heather, if she's on the outs with Shannon, is it going to be Gina and Emily, Tweedledee and Tweedledum? And like, I'm sorry, but like, I wish Gina and Emily just were not on the show anymore. I don't mean to be rude. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but I don't think they add any value. Honestly, they're really, really hard to watch. Particularly, I was going to say Gina, but honestly, both of them, because I can't stand Emily when she creates a narrative in her head and then she says it as if it's true in fact. Like, well, you did this because of that. And it's like, no, that's your opinion. That's literally what you just made up in your head. And now you're going around to people saying it as if it's the truth, but it's actually not the truth. It's actually just a story you made up. And that really, I don't like when people do that. I don't like when people think, oh, well, I know you did this because of this, and that's why. And then they speak it as if it were the truth. That really grinds my gears. And then Gina has all this problem with like the blended family, the domestics and the drinking and the DUIs and all the situation. And I don't think Gina really adds anything to the show. Like, just, can you take your head out of Heather Dubrow's butt? That would be great. But let me know what you guys think. Are you excited to have Tamra back? Are you excited to see what happens with Tamra versus Heather, Tamra versus Shannon, any new blood that's coming to the OC? Let me know. And what do you think about Tamra saying goodbye to Cut Fitness? We gotta do what we have to do, post-lockdown world. Let me know what you guys think. If you agree, if you disagree, just what your thoughts are. And are you looking forward to the new season of The Real Housewives of OC? Let me know. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, give us super thanks if you want, and check out the description box. I'm telling you, we have podcasts, we have books, we have movies, we have newsletters. There's a lot going on down there. So join us, my beautiful candy canes. So until next time, take care of yourself and each other. And I love you. Be safe. Bye.
Welcome to Sugar Pills, a practical guide to self-care, where your host, writer, actor, and producer Candy Washington helps you live a more joyful life with a cheeky dash of pop culture news. Be sure to subscribe, leave a 5-star review, and join the conversation on Instagram @Candy Washington. Let's go.